Hello Recruit, and welcome back to Astroneer Academy. Now, I know that technically you are no longer a recruit since you have completed all of the previous Astroneer Academy courses and are now beginning graduate level courses. But to me, you'll always be the bright-eyed recruit eager for information to aid you in your mission from EXO Dynamics. So you'll just have to excuse me because I'm going to continue to call you Recruit. Over the next 7 weeks, we will explore 7 graduate level courses that will cover new missions and schematics issued by EXO Dynamics, understand and implement advanced power management, and take a much deeper dive into automation than was possible in the undergraduate courses. By the end of the next 7 weeks, you will be masters of what it takes to be an Astroneer. And as always, each course will be added to the official Astroneer Academy textbook, and you can always reference that document via the link in the description of each course. So let's jump right in. EXO Dynamics has been a leading pioneer in space exploration since 1973. To remain in their position as the predominant conglomerate in the industry, they must constantly invent, iterate, and innovate. Because of this, we have several new schematics available to us since we last gathered together, and we will discuss many of these further in Astroneer Academy 502 and 503. In those courses, we will be looking at several new power producers and automation-related items. There have been some other new items introduced by EXO through various limited time events, however, so let's take a look at all of those. The Cauldrangea was available during the biofuel obtainment operation, also known as the B.O.O limited time event. Found exclusively on Aatrox and guarded by numerous hostile plants, this unique item was key to completing the event. Thankfully, you could easily locate dozens of them scattered on the surface of Aatrox, sitting atop the Cauldrangea roots, which is simply a highly themed platform. The Cauldrangea functioned much like a chemistry lab, though it did not require any power to operate. You could place spooky squash samples, or a combination of spooky squash samples, mutant volatile attacti seeds, or mutant elegant spew flower seeds to create squashline, adapetrol, or noxethane, respectively. These gases were key to completing the B.O.O event and unlocking its associated rewards. And if you still have some of these gases laying about, you can place them in the research chamber to earn some bites. One of the rewards from the B.O.O event was the PUM-KN Shelter. It functions exactly like a regular printed shelter, but with more spookiness. Like the regular shelter, it features 2 Tier 1 slots, 4 power cables, and an internal RTG and oxygenator for power and oxygen. It also makes a really gross sound every time its door opens and closes. The schematic for the PUM-KN Shelter unlocked by completing the B.O.O event while it was active, and it unlocks at the start of any new adventure if previously earned during the B.O.O limited time event. It is crafted on the large printer from 1 clay, 1 resin, 1 carbon, and 1 plastic. Unlike the regular shelter, it can be blown up using dynamite. But instead of yielding debris like most detonated objects, the PUM-KN Shelter leaves behind numerous spooky squash samples and spooky squash seeds. The B.O.O event also brought with it a limited appearance of the Lashvine. This fierce-looking plant spawned exclusively around Caudrangeas, and it attacked much like a thistle whip, though it dealt significantly more damage. They did not drop seeds when uprooted, meaning it was impossible to create your own garden of attack plants containing the Lashvine. Another limited time event, Project Tier Delivery, introduced 2 new winter holiday themed objects and made it possible to craft several others. The Cosmic Bauble was the only event item that could not be found on planets and had to be crafted on the small printer from 1 Astronium and 1 scrap. In Astroneer Academy 304, we discussed several holiday themed items from the Project Tier Recovery event, and they all made an appearance for Project Tier Delivery. But this time around, you had the chance to craft them on the small printer or find them. Both automatons could be crafted from 1 scrap. The cubic object could be crafted from 1 scrap and 1 carbon, while the stellar object could be crafted from 1 scrap and 1 glass. The only Project Tier Delivery item that could not be crafted was the Astro figurine, which could only be found on the surface of Glacio. To find them, you simply had to locate an isolated specimen, aka a snowman, and uproot it. Once you did, an Astro figurine could be found in its place. All of these holiday recreational items could be attached to the EXO request platform for points that went to unlock various cosmetic rewards. There have been numerous new cosmetic items available in EXO Outfitters, but we will not be covering these in detail, as items rotate in and out of the catalog, and it is cost prohibitive to be able to feature them all. Be certain to keep an eye on the EXO Outfitters tab, watching for the yellow star to appear to indicate that there is something new available for purchase. Speaking of cosmetics, EXO has, at long last, given fashion-conscious Astroneers the ability to save our favorite outfits and easily swap between saved outfits. This improvement also includes much simpler organization and selection of all of our various suits, palettes, visors, masks, hats, and emotes. Through advanced technology, you can even preview each item without actually putting it on. Once you have put together the various bits into one to die for outfit, you can easily save it. You can also choose to overwrite or delete any fashion faux pas. And once you have an outfit saved, you can easily preview entire outfits without actually putting them on, allowing you to select the best look for any occasion. EXO Dynamics has also brought about several enhancements to numerous existing items and introduced several quality of life improvements. All platforms now require manual locking. Previously, a platform would automatically lock when connected to another platform or object via a power cable, and it would only unlock once all power cables were disconnected. Now, you can choose to manually lock or unlock a platform at any time, allowing you to fine-tune their placement even when power cables are connected. Only platforms anchored to terrain can be locked, and they will become unlocked when unanchored from the terrain. The medium soil canister has been updated to become the medium fluid in soil canister and allows storage of either soil or hydrazine. It continues to hold the equivalent of 24 small canisters of either soil or hydrazine. A handful of items previously printed exclusive from the backpack printer can now also be printed from the small printer, including the packager, small canister, extenders, dynamite, fireworks, work light, and floodlight. This addition to the small printer allows you to print these items repeatedly if you wish, and hopefully EXO Dynamics will be bringing more items from the backpack printer to the small printer in the future. And we have several other quality of life improvements as well. The research catalog has been updated to include a brief description of each object, along with some notable applications, and it also includes any dependencies, slot information, and power values for items. You can also easily select the research catalog while in a vehicle or shelter by selecting it via the action wheel. Astroneers now have quick access to the Astropedia from various resources. Likewise, planets offer this same quick access when viewing the map of the solar system. By selecting the appropriate hotkey, you can quickly jump to the respective section of the Astropedia to gain insight on how objects function or where resources are located. The Astropedia itself has been updated to include more information on natural resources required for refined resources, along with the resources required to create composite resources. Additionally, all natural and atmospheric resources now indicate on which planet and biome they can be located. The Planets tab also gives more insight into the location of resources as well. Likewise, holograms of resources on printers and storage canisters will also provide information on where you can locate that specific resource. All three shuttles have received quality of life improvements as well. When in orbit, you can speed up or slow down your orbit speed. Now you won't be stuck waiting to orbit around a planet. You can simply speed up the orbit to get around the planet much quicker. Or you can slow things down if you're worried that you're going to miss your landing spot. Additionally, we no longer have two buttons to launch into orbit. Now, one button launches into orbit while the other adds the ability to launch to another planet, which will take you to the map of the solar system. For you Astroneers who like to express yourself or enjoy a spontaneous dance break, the Emote Wheel provides quick access to 8 emotes that you have selected in the customization menu. And for the ultimate in self-expression, both Tier 1 horns have new functionality. When attached to the top of a medium or large resource canister that contain at least a single nugget of a resource, their default sound changes. We will cover this change more in depth in Astroneer Academy 506 Creative Automation. As mentioned earlier, the action wheel provides quick access to the compass, mission logs, and research catalog. Additionally, it will provide access to the terrain tool menu and arrow drone in creative mode. You can also quickly recall the last option you had open from the action wheel through a hotkey, and this same hotkey can quickly close most options that you may currently have open. We interrupt your immersion with this fourth wall breaking item, high quality mode. We try very hard to avoid referring to Astroneer as a game and to keep the whole "you're an actual recruit in an actual academy" thing running. But it's tough to talk about high quality mode without that metaphor breaking down. So high quality mode is actually a combination of settings available that allow you to choose between high quality visuals and game performance. High quality terrain will impact the level of detail that you see in nearby terrain. Terrain LOD blending will help ease the transition between lower quality textures and higher quality textures as you get nearer to an area. Distance detail, object detail, and shadow and lighting detail are fairly straightforward. Extra shadow casters allows additional items to cast shadows in the environment, and FOV bias allows you to adjust your field of view. As you adjust nearly any of these items on or off or left to right, you will see an increase in graphical quality at the cost of game performance. You can tweak each setting to find the right balance for you. And we now return you to your regularly scheduled immersion. The last two additions may very well be the most important, as they can have a huge impact upon how you approach your adventure as an Astroneer. Up first is the updated compass. Activated through the action wheel, this compass replaces the one that we had that only showed basic cardinal directions. This enhanced compass not only indicates direction, but you can track up to 10 items based upon their proximity and priority. You will see shelters, beacons, active and inactive gateway chambers, vehicles, fellow Astroneers, and even corpse backpack markers. The compass will typically only direct you to the nearest items though, so if you have more than one shelter on any given planet or moon, it will only direct you to the nearest one. You will hear audible tones as items appear and disappear from the compass, which can help alert you to objects of potential interest. The compass also provides a rough approximation of distance. Objects on the outer ring can be very far away and will shift to the inner rings as you get closer to them. The compass also indicates whether an item is above or below the same elevation as you, making it very easy to understand where that item is. So for example, if you want to drop a beacon high in a mountain to mark some malachite that you want to come back to later, you'll easily be able to find it again since the compass displays elevation. The compass enhancements carry over to the oddstones, with each node on an oddstone now labeled according to their location. And that's where you might notice something, well, odd. The old compass would have us believe that the node toward the bottom right was the North Pole. Well, it isn't. That's actually the South Pole node. The old compass was just wrong, and it's taken EXO Dynamics quite a while to inform us of this oversight. But maybe a busted compass can help explain why we encounter so much wreckage from failed expeditions. And that brings us to the final addition, missions. Until now, EXO Dynamics has been sending us forth and hoping for the best. With little more than our backpack research catalogs to give us clues for things to create, Astroneers weren't really given a clear mandate. This lack of clear instruction and a defined set of objectives has finally come to an end. Though it has taken EXO Dynamics nearly 500 years since its founding, they have now provided us with missions. So how do we access these missions? How do we complete them? And are there any perks for completing these missions? Those are all great questions, Recruit, so let's answer them. You can access the mission log from any landing pad, your backpack, or from the action wheel. The mission log will display all active and completed missions, detailing their objectives and rewards for their completion. The mission objectives range from performing various tasks, such as locating or collecting an item, to crafting various items or completing other tasks, such as using a probe scanner or deploying a shelter on a planet. Once you have completed a mission, you can collect your rewards at any landing pad. These rewards come in 3 general categories: research bites, research catalog schematic unlocks, and craftable items. Some missions may contain rewards from more than one category, and some missions will reward you with an item that cannot be crafted, the QT RTG. We'll talk more about the QT RTG in Astroneer Academy 502. You could choose to completely ignore the missions if you'd like, which is part of the joy of being an Astroneer. There is no single right way to succeed or make progress. As long as you're having fun and achieving your goals, you're doing it right. But even if you do choose to ignore the missions, you will no doubt inadvertently complete several of them. When you do, you will receive a notification letting you know. So why not collect the rewards if you've earned them? You can score a few new items and then carry on your blissfully ignorant way as you resume ignoring the missions altogether. In Astroneer Academy 502, we'll be looking at several new power producers and related items, discussing changes to existing power producers and power consumptions, and investigating how all of this works together for advanced power management. Until then, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.